Steve Schuckenbrock, welcome to Elon, your alma mater. We're delighted to have you back.
It's fantastic to be back. The university has just blossomed into something really special.
Well, thank you. You are president of services at Dell. What does services mean?
Well, services is everything we do for customers, from kind of basic support, but all the way up to running their entire business and all the compute platforms they use to drive their government or business entity.
Give me an example.
Well, so hospitals, everything it takes to run a hospital, from administration through patient care, through aftercare programs, and linking all that to physicians are all things we do as a part of our services scope.
Well, great. You talk a lot these days about the cloud. Define for the layperson what the cloud is.
You know, the cloud is like anything new in our industry. We tend to overhype it. You know, it's a great natural evolution of what compute can do to make things easier to use, faster, more simple to deploy. And all the benefits that'll come from that is allow businesses and individuals to get access to information anywhere, anytime, any place. And that's really where compute is going. So, you know, your smartphone is tapping into the cloud every day, and you don't have to know anything about the cloud to make it work.
Is my data secure in the cloud?
Well, you know, there's different opinions. Some people will say that your data is more secure in the cloud because of the effort that the cloud businesses go to secure data may actually be better than what happens on your own local server in your own home or in your own business. But in reality, security is a huge issue, and people need to warrant great care around security no matter where your data sits.
So tell me about how the cloud affects the global economy.
Well, you know, it's another one of those things that shrinks the globe. When your compute capability can be available from multiple different sources anywhere in the world and serve a user, no matter where they are in the world, any information that they need, it suddenly begins to shrink the globe a bit more. And just as we saw in the early days of the internet, I think the cloud is a simple acceleration off of that start.
My iPhone and my smartphone and my tablet have become such an important part of my life. And I think about technology that I use today and technology that I used 10 years ago, and just how impactful it has become in my life. Give me a peek about how the typical consumer is going to be affected by technology changes that are going to take place over the next 10 years.
You know, it's a very hard thing to do with a crystal ball like this. I mean, who would have predicted the tablet, or who would have predicted the smartphone being as good as it has become, even in just the last 5 years? But I think as you project forward, you're going to see all kinds of devices, and you're going to see automation, or both sending and receiving information from things like your dishwasher or your car or your phone, obviously. But any and all devices will have chips in them that communicate information about what that device should do to serve you better. And you're going to see a convergence of technology across millions and millions and millions of different endpoints, if you will. And then you're going to have a lot more control about how you interact with those endpoints and how you manage your life.
Hard to imagine, but
it's happening today.
But potential implications for energy savings, perhaps?
No question. I mean, you know, we're building a new house in Plano, and part of that house comes with the ability to control, even sitting here in North Carolina, everything that goes on in that house while I'm away.
You've got 5 kids who have grown up and remember the internet being around them always. As a parent, how do you think technology has shaped their lives?
You know, you can sort of take the philosophy you have to protect people from the internet, or you can take the philosophy that the values and the principles that you raise your kids with are going to guide their use of the internet. We tend to take the latter. And in reality, the internet opens the world to the kids. They can see what's happening in China almost real time. For God's sakes, when the raid on Osama bin Laden's compound occurred, it was first reported by a blogger in Pakistan. And you know, the fact that our kids can experience life in real time around the globe certainly changes their lives and their perspectives about what's possible.
You've got 2 sons in college right now, and there's a lot of talk these days about how technology is going to continue to influence higher education. Some go as far as to suggest that technology will make bricks and mortar campuses irrelevant. At Elon, I see that students crave face-to-face interaction with faculty and with their mentors. How do you think higher education in particular is going to continue to be shaped by advances in technology?
Well, I think it's going to place a premium on universities and colleges that do put a premium on face-to-face contact and place a high value on great ratios between faculty and students. Those institutions who see academia as purely the learning in the classroom and not the experience amongst your peers and the experience amongst the faculty and the exposures that brings, whether it's through international studies, internships, or on campus, I think could be replaced by all of the capabilities of the internet. But the truly valuable lessons will still be learned human to human.
I couldn't agree with you more. We're so honored to have you as commencement speaker at Elon, and we have 1,200 very smart graduates going out into the world. Share with me a nugget that you're going to share with them during your address.
You know, I thought long and hard about this commencement speech because I think the world is at a really interesting time and society needs new leadership, new thinking. And I think this generation, this millennial generation, is so well prepared. You know, they embrace diversity better than any generation before them. Their academic achievement is really unparalleled with any generation before them. Their awareness of global events and their social interaction is just phenomenal. You take all of that and then you look at the opportunities in the world that really do call for convergence. It calls for collaboration on a global basis and really courage of conviction and character.
And they're natural collaborators.
They are natural collaborators. And when you look at that, you say, these are the skill sets that are going to change society to be what we should strive to be. And I really think this generation has a special gift, and these students are going to make an enormous impact on society overall.
I agree. Steve, I share your optimism about this generation. Thank you for being with me on the show today.
That's a great pleasure. Thank you for having me.
It's a delight to have you back on campus.